quality healthcare, but that's really not happening. And it's not happening because of many reasons. Sometimes it's because lack of time, other times it's because of the money. At the end, it all goes to that there is too much friction to take care of your pet, and you have to know too many things to be a good pet parent, right? So that's what we solved with Vacuum. We are offering a platform that through a single interface, that is our mobile application, offers real peace of mind to pet parents. And by real peace of mind, we mean mainly three things. We will answer all your health questions 24/7, no matter where you are. You just go to our app, make a question, and you will have an answer immediately from our AI vet or from any of our own human veterinarians. The second, we will cover all your expenses. You go to any clinic today in Europe, we're also opening in Mexico, but any clinic in Europe, you go, you pay with your own money, and we are gonna reimburse 80% of your cost, no matter what the problem is. And third, you have all your pet's data in one place. We gather structured data, both from the actions you are taking online and offline. We digitalize all the data we have from you offline, from the clinics, and we present it to you in an easy way in our app. So if we focus on the telehealth part where we use the AI, we are the only company today in the world offering a telehealth service that combines AI plus human veterinarians, where always the first step is talking to our AI that is available for free worldwide, and that is going to help any pet parent in the world to know what to do next. You come to us, you answer our bot that can make you 5, 10, even sometimes 30 questions to get to an answer. And with that answer, at least you're not going to have a final diagnosis, but you're going to have a differential diagnosis that will let you know you have to go to the clinic running, or you can wait, or at least what's the next step. So we launched this full platform about a year ago in Spain. We grow more than 25-30% in sales every month. We just launched in Mexico and in Germany, and we hope to end this year around 6-7 million euros in annual revenue. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Pablo. Congrats on the launch in Mexico as well. I'll go ahead and open it up for questions from the media.
Let's start with one, which is, do people trust, when it comes to their pet's health, an AI? I mean, people could Google today the same questions, and I don't know that they would trust that. They would call their vet. Is there a sufficient trust? You know, if I say, does my, dog need to see a clinic or a vet because it's got the following symptoms, would people actually trust the AI? And if, do you have metrics around that?
Well, we have metrics. The NPS, the net satisfaction score from our customers when they use our AI or when we answer them with our AI is double than when we answer them with human veterinarians. So sometimes we try to think that humans are very good at doing things, but users value different things than what we think. And when you need a first answer, you need an answer regarding health, especially, and not just pet health, but also human health. When you go online to look for an answer, what you are really looking for is something that you trust enough and that is fast enough, so you know the next step. And another way to answer you this is that you have companies in Babylon Health or Ada Health that are already unicorns and that are really disrupting healthcare, and people is trusting them to guide them through the health of their children. So you can guess that obviously people is going to trust us with the health of their pets.
Could you talk a little bit more about kind of the mechanism by how you guys cover the veterinary expenses and like how that works from like from a cost standpoint on your side?
Yeah, so we offer for free a part of our services that is mainly the AI part. So anyone in almost anywhere in the world where they speak Spanish, English, or German, they can download our app and start making questions, unlimited questions, 24/7 for free to our bot. But then if they want to continue taking care of their pets. For example, if they need to talk to a vet, or if they have to go to the clinic and spend some money in the clinic. If they want to be covered, they have to purchase our subscription. It's an annual subscription that today is only available in Spain, Mexico, and in Germany. We plan to expand aggressively. And with that subscription that you pay once a year, you have access to all our coverage. It's financial coverage, but it's also 24/7 telehealth services. Sorry,
I know that, sorry, I've got a cat next to me as well. I know that pet insurance is quite common here in Germany. Is there any plans to align this or, I guess, add it to any of the insurance services for pets?
Well, in a way, we compete with pet insurance. Yeah. So because our subscription is a bit more complex, and we believe in a more comprehensive solution. But on the back end, we are an insurance company also. So our subscription has many products inside. One is an insurance that is it's very, very good and very cheap insurance, because we, on top of that, we have to put the other expenses that are not covered by insurance, like, for example, vaccinations or deworming, that are predicted expenses and that we cover also. So we can say that our subscription is like a bundle of more things than just a pet insurance, but obviously we have to compete with pet insurance.
All right, great. Well, Pablo, thank you so much, and great presentation. We'll go ahead and move on. The next startup on the list today would be Dave Hurt, CEO and founder of Verb Data. Dave, give me 1 second and I'll give you the co-host role. All righty, Dave, you should be with us and should be able to share your screen if you'd like.
You got that?
Yeah, yep, cool. Looks good. And I can hear you loud and clear too. So whenever you're ready, please just go ahead.
Awesome, great. Nice to meet everybody. I'm Dave, co-founder and CEO of Verb Data, and we're really focused on helping B2B SaaS companies provide customer-facing analytics to their customers from within their applications. So, right, the B2B SaaS industry, hyper-competitive, customers can leave whenever they want to at this point. So providers really need to show the value that they're providing to their customers. And one way to do that is through dashboards, right? Providing valuable insights on the data that you're helping host, and also proving the ROI of your own platform back to your customers using these dashboards, right? So we have a couple examples. These aren't our customers, but great examples in the industry, right? Shopify has a whole analytics section where they visualize data for their business shop owners, right? Uber Eats proves the ROI of their platform for restaurant owners. And QuickBooks, right? They don't just show expenses over revenue, but also create dashboards that convey the overall business health to their customers. But data is actually really difficult to get back to your customers, right? It all lives intermingled. So my data might be next to somebody else's data in the database. And so bringing that back is very difficult. The hard part is not, right, building a pie chart. It's getting the data ready for the pie chart. It requires sophisticated infrastructure and also constant performance and security maintenance. And it's really a long journey from raw data all the way through to that pie chart that you see in those dashboards, right? There's lots of individual steps. Each requires a bunch of different tools and unique skill sets. And it's really development intensive. So it distracts your development team from other core features. So it's a very high opportunity cost. So Verb actually solves this problem, the infrastructure problem, through automation and no code. So we connect to our customers' raw data sources, and then they actually design the dashboards or reports in our platform. And then we reverse engineer the data warehouse tables and queries that support the visualizations that get embedded into those platforms. So through that automation, we're able to save hours of development time. So customers are up and running within just a couple of days. And they never have to manage performance, security, or anything like that. So we fit right into their process. This no-code solution also makes it very simple for non-technical users to get involved. So you're never relying on just your engineers anymore.
All right, fantastic. Dave, thanks so much for that, and congrats on everything you've built as well. We'll go ahead and open it up. Please feel free to just call out media panelists, but I also wanted to take this time to remind you, if you could continue to score along in the judges scorecard, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I have a question about IoT and IoT-based data, real-time data that's streaming in, whether it's coming off of a programmable logic controller or, across a shop floor, or even being sensed across the network. How are you compensating for the variation in data real-time versus batch-oriented in the behavior of that data on your dashboards? How do you help your customers understand that?
Yeah, most of our customers today we're managing the whole process of grabbing data, right? So that's the really difficult part, right? So IoT, generally data is getting pushed towards something. We are the ones going out and getting it. So we're doing that on an incremental basis. So you can set that incrementality to, basically constant. So continually going out and fetching versus every 15 minutes, every hour. And so depending on how frequently you want your data, we actually have different tiers of the platform. So if you want it, every minute, it's going to cost you more than if you want it every hour or once a day. So they're able to configure their pipelines that way.
So the value proposition is to knock down the integration problems in enterprises, and then also provide business analysts with a tool where they just have to design what they want, and then you go off and do all the hard work of what their IT department would have done in previous generation dashboard technology.
Yeah, exactly. My background is I've always worked in SaaS. My business partner, the CTO, has been the VP of engineering at multiple SaaS companies, and we've messed up enough dashboards and made dashboards that moved way too slow, took too long to load, to learn what not to do. And so we really thought we could kind of bring some of the cloud data infrastructure to a lot of these SaaS companies.
Do you have any kind of metrics on how your product improves mean time to resolution?
So are you talking more on like the customer support side of things, or? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we most of I don't really have great data on that right now. I think it would be all kind of like anecdotal more than anything else. But we do believe that, getting the data into your customers' hands versus asking, your customers asking you ad hoc queries would be obviously very helpful. But I don't have any like specific data on that right now.
Do you have any?
How do you monetize it?
Yeah, monetization. We charge by how much data we manage for our customers. So you can have just as many dashboards as you want. You could have 20, 30, 40. You can have hundreds or thousands of people looking at it, but it's all about how much data we are ingesting and managing for you. Tim, you had another follow on there?
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you have any use cases that you could name, clients you've tested this out on, or
most of our customers, they're all kind of SaaS companies. So that we have two kind of verticals that we're really focused on. One is e-commerce, right? So lots of transactions. So there's an explosion of data around the product mix that was sold, things like that. So a couple of restaurant online ordering companies like Onisys and SwipeBuy. And then looking at, on the other side of things, we work with a handful of procurement companies. So kind of workflow management where you're aggregating data across lots of series of surveys and kind of feedback. So if you're running an RFP, you get 100 responses. You need to kind of analyze the mix of the supplier diversity, potential savings, that kind of stuff. And so in that side of things, look at companies like BidOps. They just recently changed their name. And then we also have a couple media kind of advertising customers that are agencies that handle that for their customers.
Is the primary competitor do nothing, or is it do something else?
In our research, about 90% of the people that we talked to that were thinking about building dashboards wanted to do it custom, right? So stitching all those tools together. So building, bringing data together from multiple data sources, standing up their own data warehouse if they wanted to be sophisticated about it, custom building all of those charts. It's doing it all kind of piecemeal. Some people are starting to look at trying to wedge in other BI tools, but it's a really bad customer experience. And so we're kind of that medium between, right, everything custom from lots of different tools to a BI tool, but it's very customized for living inside of another application.
If your product wasn't available, would they be doing this and spending more money kludging things together and custom writing software, or would they just not do anything and just not have the feature? That's what I'm really getting at.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, most of the people that have signed up to use us had scoped this work, right? And they were thinking, well, it's going to take me 6 months to go build this. Like, that's just unrealistic. So let's go find something else. So they would, a lot of times they'll kind of come up with their dream dashboard. They'll start pairing back. So they either go look for a solution, or they'll put out something that's kind of like, half or a quarter of what they really want to do because of the level of effort involved. So it's usually competing against like the quality of internally built stuff.
All righty, Dave. Well, thank you very much for a great presentation.
Thanks.
Everybody, we'll go ahead and move on. I'm going to bring up Dale Smith, founder and CMO of Orchestral AI. Dale, give me 1 second, sir, and I'll give you the presenter role.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you real good. 1 second, let me give you the... All righty, you should be able to share your screen too if you'd like, Dale. And as soon as you're ready to start, I'll start the timer.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dale Smith, and as its Chief Marketing Officer, it is my great pleasure to introduce Orchestral.ai, an enterprise software company formed 2 years ago to bring intelligent, autonomous infrastructure to the world's largest enterprises for the very first time. So why do the world's largest enterprises need autonomous infrastructure? In a word, complexity. An almost unbelievable amount of complexity due to the interplay of dozens of factors, not the least of which are the various technology silos, which include computing, networking, security, business support apps, various tools and platforms, as well as devices. That complexity is a pervasive, pressing, and as it turns out, a highly profitable problem to solve, with forecast of it being a $600 billion market opportunity as early as 2022. This is a market opportunity that Orchestral has made its mission to monetize by delivering the world's first purpose-built platform to make intelligent autonomous infrastructure a reality. We are accomplishing this by addressing the full scope of use cases that cause the most pain to enterprise infrastructure and operations teams. Our Symphony platform provides hundreds of integrations with devices, tools, services, and applications that most enterprises use to build their infrastructure. And it features an explainable AI engine designed to deliver high levels of predictive accuracy and high levels of explainability simultaneously. The impact we have is to transform what is today a very reactive, stressful, and disruptive approach to managing infrastructure complexity into a confident and proactive approach. Orchestral's leadership team brings over 100 years of experience with enterprise infrastructure to our mission of delivering intelligent autonomous infrastructure to the world's largest enterprises. Today, we are revenue generating and actively engaged in fundraising. Thank you for your time, and you'll find my contact details at the bottom.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dale. Great presentation. We'll go ahead. We'll open it up right away to any questions or immediate feedback from the media panel.
Yeah, you mentioned funding. Any notable investors you can point to?
I mentioned that we are fundraising. We're in the process of raising funds. We have, I think we have validated our product market fit. As I said, we are revenue generating. We target the Fortune 5,000, Global 2,000 companies simply because these are the companies that have the greatest pain and stand to benefit the greatest from what we have to offer.
Thanks.
So we are. You could consider just pre-Series A in terms of our funding target.
I actually have a similar question to the last question I asked, which is, if your product didn't exist, what would these companies do to address this problem? Would they do nothing? Would they be building custom solutions? Would they have to kludge together many things? What would happen?
They would continue to suffer the kind of chaos and war room situations that happen when some event occurs in the infrastructure that is disruptive to the business. Either employees are unable to use some of the applications that are critical for their function, or customers are unable to access that infrastructure to accomplish some job that they need to have that's revenue generating for the company. So today there are teams of people that get thrown at this problem. There are various tools that are disaggregated and independent, that are not integrated, that are in silos. So if companies don't address this problem, they continue to have infrastructure that is inefficient, that is inflexible, and that ultimately inhibits their ability to innovate, to be agile, to take advantage of new market opportunities, and ultimately to achieve their goals around digital aspiration, which every Fortune 500, Global 2000 company is committed to some form of digital transformation. What we offer is absolutely the connective tissue between where they are today and where they'd like to be in terms of achieving their aspirations around digital transformation. So, as was stated, let me just have one last comment. As was stated in this market study from Gartner, which pegs this as a $600 billion market opportunity, this is not really optional. This hyper-automation approach, which we are providing, is essential to their survival. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just curious, what is your nearest competitor in your view?
There are a number of companies that are offering tools to address various aspects of this problem. There are two things that distinguish what Orchestral is offering, and those map to the two key components of our platform. So we have a part of our platform called Composer, which is an event-driven orchestration platform, automation and orchestration platform. This is differentiated in the sense that it has hundreds of integrations into all of those elements that make up infrastructure today, and it is event-driven. In other words, it has the ability to trigger when something happens. It has the ability to cause a workflow or work process to be initiated on the basis of something happening in that infrastructure. And then we are building on top of that an explainable AI engine, which is differentiated from our competitors who have largely developed their platform and their product strategy around monitoring data and adding to that a machine learning engine. Now, the difficulty with that is that technology and that technology strategy doesn't point you in the direction of developing models with high levels of trustability. And so in that sense, you could consider that aspect of our platform is actually second generation, in the sense that it's purpose built to simultaneously achieve through a unique combination of AI technologies, simultaneously achieve high levels of reliability and high levels of high levels of explainability and high levels of predictive accuracy, which together provide the high levels of trustability, which are necessary for broad-scale enterprise adoption of this technology.
Do you have any numbers around how quickly or efficiently you can help your customers fix problems before they happen and reduce downtime?
As I said, we're in the market for about 2 years now. What I can say is that 100% of the Fortune 500 Global 2000 companies have the problem that we're addressing. That's why it's such an enormous market opportunity. One other thing that is unique about our platform is it's designed in such a way that a customer can begin using it regardless of where they might be in their automation journey. So we have some customers who are literally at stage 0. They have no automation. We have other customers who have pockets of automation in various parts of their infrastructure, but they haven't yet gotten to the stage where they can orchestrate that automation across those separate silos and separate technology domains to the point where they have something that's truly automated and that truly provides that auto-remediated nirvana that everyone is after. So we are early days. We have a number of customers who are going through proofs of value with us, in other words, pilot projects. And as those get mature and we add on our explainable AI layer on top of the Composer event-driven orchestration layer, then we'll be able to develop the metrics around what is the auto-remediation impact of those two of the platform deployed in a more mature stage.
All righty, Dale. Thank you, Tim. That sufficiently answered the question, by the way, before I move on.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, great presentation. Thanks so much for joining us again. We'll go ahead and move on to our next startup. I'm going to bring on the screen Jean-Paul Smitz, the CEO of Rapid Space. Jean-Paul, give me 1 second and I'll make you the co-host. All righty, Jean-Paul, you should be able to share your screen now.
Is it shared?
Yes, it's shared. We can see it and we can hear you. So whenever you're ready, please go ahead and begin.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jean-Paul Smitz from Rapid Space. Lately, I had a conversation between 2 ambassadors at the United Nations. A European ambassador was asking to his Russian colleague, let's do something to enforce internet neutrality. And his Russian colleague replied, forget it, with 5G, everything has changed on the internet, the Chinese just told me. With 5G and cloud, the core values of our democracies are at risk. There's no more network neutrality. Wikipedia is blocked in China. There's no more privacy. Backdoors are compulsory for 5G and public cloud. There's no more free competition. Transferring 1 gigabyte of mobile data in the United States is 66 times more expensive than in Israel. In 20 years, Western and Chinese internet have become equally undemocratic, except for the freedom to host our own web server. This is why Rapid Space was created, by combining Nexedi, the inventor of edge computing, Amarisoft, the inventor of 5G vRAN, and Montivinius, the creator of MySQL. Our goal is to democratize the internet with a new concept, fully open cloud. A fully open cloud promotes competition, encourages privacy, and unlocks free innovation. Because it's open source, you can copy our software. Because it's open hardware, you can copy our infrastructure. And because it's open process, you can copy and improve our service already proven at Stellantis Automotive and Munich City. We produce fully open 5G base stations because 5G and cloud are now the same industry, converged due to edge computing, Industry 4.0 and the metaverse. Our service is fully available in China, including VPN, CDN, SDN, and big data, which are usually forbidden for foreign companies. Fully open cloud and 5G are good for democracy. By sharing our IP and protecting our customers' data, we cut all the rationale for the splinternet. We ensure that citizens are not monitored by foreign organizations, and we bring back free competition instead of cartels. We demonstrate how neutrality, privacy, and freedom make our democracies better for everyone.
All right, Jean-Paul, thank you so much. Great presentation. French coming in to save democracy again. I love it. We'll go ahead and we'll open up for questions from the media panel.
Jean-Paul, how are you making money? Describe your business model.
We already make money with many customers, like Curin. We run with Airbus. In United States, the Oregon Department of Transportation. We charge between $20 and $40 per month per node, which is automatically managed by Rapid Space Technology. So it's a subscription base, which is proportional to the number of nodes that are managed by our operation management system.
Anybody else have any questions?
What's the typical deployment scenario with an enterprise account? Can you walk us through how does a company go about getting up and running with you, and what's the knowledge transfer like?
So if you just use the VPS, which is like a big virtual machine, it's plain easy. Just connect via SSH, install your operating system, and this is what many people do. If we talk about our vRAN 5G base station, it's plug and play. We have customers in Germany who are already just getting the box, putting it on an internet gateway, and after a minute they get a 5G private network. That's the easy case. A bit more difficult with the CDN. Some companies, for example, have their CRM in Singapore and a factory in mainland China, and they want to work from the factory in mainland China to the CRM in Singapore. It's a bit more difficult because many people don't understand how CDN works, but then we use a local system integrator who does the configuration. Then a little bit more difficult will be the operation of the big data hub service. So we have, for example, 800 wind turbines in Germany using it to predict ice and blade failure. This goes through a dedicated domain-specific company that knows vibration and wind turbines and does the whole configuration for the electrical company. And then the most sophisticated are software as a service vendors who want to fully automate the service lifecycle of their software as a service. Then we have a service, we call it Make Your Own Pass. It's like a platform as a service, but you can customize it and make it tailored to you. So it's really full range of different service, from the easiest to use to the most sophisticated. And the more sophisticated, the more system integrators we use.
Can I ask a slightly
Is there a go ahead.
No, I was going to ask a dumb question, which is simply, why hasn't anyone done this before? And why aren't the big groups doing it?
Because people are obsessed with money and with the idea of unfair advantage. And the obsession with money leads to a situation. Well, the example is the United States. Why do you pay 5 times the price we pay in many European countries for mobile data? Why a virtual machine at Amazon is super expensive compared to what you can get in some European providers? So that's because too many people get too much obsessed with profits, then the market stabilizes at the highest point of the equilibrium between offer and demand. So if you translate that in microeconomic theory, there's a theorem that says that the price defines the equilibrium between offer and demand and relates to an optimum of, how do you call it, utility. But there can be 2 optimums, And if you fall in the higher optimum, then the market stabilizes on high prices. And if you have a few people in a country that care providing good service, but not necessarily maximize their profit, just make good profit, then one player on the market starts playing differently, then it changes the market. So this is the true reason. We pay our 5G subscription in France, something like $15 per month for 100 gigabyte per month. Just to give an idea.
Are you GDPR compliant?
Yes, and we are Chinese cybersecurity law compliant and whatever local regulation compliant, because we provide all the source code and information process, and we let a local supplier do the job. And this way, we cut all the regulatory relations between the different entities. So idea, we wanted to stop the situation where Americans spy French, who spy Chinese, who spy American, which is the current situation with any cloud provider. And the way we have created the kind of legal firewall, and in every country it's managed by local teams, but globally it's orchestrated as a single system. And this way we can comply with all regulations.
Brilliant. Well, Jean-Paul, fascinating what you're building, and congratulations, sir, on everything so far. Thanks for the presentation. We'll go ahead and move on to our next panelist. I'm going to bring up Danny Castro, Enterprise Success Manager for WayDev. Danny, give me 1 second. I'll give you the presenter role.
Sure.
All righty. All right, Danny, you should be able to share your screen.
Sure. You can see it there, right?
Yeah, we can see it, and I can hear you loud and clear. So whenever you're ready, Danny, just go ahead and I'll start the timer.
Okay, perfect. So you're in the first slide, the software development, right? Sorry, I just have two screens here. Okay, perfect. Perfect, thanks. So thanks everyone for joining today. My name is Danny Castro, Head of Enterprise at WayDev. I'm just gonna tell you a little bit more about the problem that we are trying to solve here at WayDev. So basically, the company started in 2017. Our first product launched in 2019, and let's say a first version of the product. At that point in the market, there were a lot of tools in terms of measuring marketing, sales, operations, any other like business operation analytics that you needed, right? So what WayDev tried to do at that point is, hey, at that point, according to Stripe, there was a $300 billion loss in engineering inefficiency. And of course, there were very little metrics or tools to help the engineering teams, a CTO, a VP of engineering with this issue. So basically, the companies at this point were not usually aware of the loss that they were having, and if they were, or even if they are right now, right? So people keep coming aware of this type of tools right now. If they know about this, they don't know or they don't have the tools on how to solve those issues, right? So basically, that's where WayDev comes in. So what we have done is that we have built a platform that automatically aggregates data from multiple engineering tools and basically provides dashboards of actionable metrics and insights for engineering managers, leaders like CTOs, VPs of engineering, as mentioned before. And they are going to be able to see custom reports. They are going to be able to act upon those metrics and make sure that their team's performance is actually what is expected or what they can expect from the current metrics that we do. So basically, we do it by automation. So the automation is the heart of our product. Basically, if we want to call it like that, WayDev is a new agile data-driven method for tracking those engineering teams. And basically, we are going to be able to connect to the different tool stacks or different tools that the engineering team uses. And basically, we're going to be able to see data in real time, not like before that you were you needed to go sprint by sprint and aggregating data manually, probably to track the work of your engineering teams. So basically, we're going to be able to track velocity, cycle time, developers' performance, code review process, work log, sprints, pull request resolution, and you're going to be able to act upon that. And as you can see, we have been used by multiple Fortune 500 companies, and it's our kind of buyer persona right now. Okay, so yeah,
awesome.
That's kind of why that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danny. Great presentation. Really quickly before we begin questions, I just wanted to mention if all the journalists could please keep scoring in real time, that'd be fantastic. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions or feedback from the media panel.
I have a question about testing. And testing is an area that has gotten a lot of interest with AI startups. And are you pulling testing data, and can you automate a test using AI to be able to learn over time where gaps are in application testing and software QA? Can you explain how is your platform helping to improve software QA by automating testing or getting greater insights into testing and alleviating how manually oriented that is for software development engineers today?
Well, so it's not actually thought for testing itself. So it's basically for the whole base code. But one thing that we can definitely help with, if the repos are integrated, let's say that is integrated with GitHub, with Jira, and with other tools, we're going to be able to see all the pull requests and to see how the review, how they collaborate. Let's say a reviewer can check into the work of requester of the code, and is going to be able to see. We are going to be able to see or to procure a faster cycle time for that review process, if that makes sense. So I think that that's the best way that we could actually help in terms of testing. But I'm not sure about testing of the actual product itself, but making sure that code is actually being well written and all the review process of the code is well done. I think that's the best approach that we do have for that, because it's not actually thought for QA processes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I've got another question. You talk about cycle time reduction, and you've got some wonderful customer logos here. Congratulations on that. What percentage cycle time reduction is happening? What's the before and after? Do you have any kind of measure that?
Sure. We have done that. Oh, wait a second. We have done that in the past, and we have a number of approximately 22% cycle time improvement after starting using the analytics, and acting upon them, of course. So we see the 22% increase.
Yeah, and your business model, do you charge and on your business model, do you charge per seat, or are you doing value-based pricing? Some companies in your space are doing value-based pricing and per seat.
Yeah, we do per seat only. We do have 3 tiers of pricing depending on what features, what number of repos that you're going to be using. And also we do have an on-premise version and a cloud version. So definitely based on that, mixing of those factors, you're going to have the pricing per seat.
And just one final question.
Sure.
The code line on the on-premise versus the cloud or SaaS, is it the same code line or is it a different code line?
It's going to be the same code line.
Really? Well, that's good. Yeah. Makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
any feedback from engineers?
Sorry?
Any feedback from the engineers themselves? I mean, how do they react to it?
Well, actually, as you can see, and you can note, our buyers are actually the VPs of engineering and the engineering managers, etc. Right? Those are the ones that actually use the tool for their visibility of the data. However, they have told us about, some of our clients tell us about how interested are some of their engineer teams into actually getting to know how they are performing. This is actually very well used into one-on-one meetings. So that you still need, if you're an engineering manager, you still need to make and to coach and to lead individuals within your team. So this is actually where the appreciation comes from the engineers. They do get the feedback. They are aware now of how they are working. They are aware of what they can do better. So I think that's the best, the best input that we can provide, or that we can get actually from the engineers itself, like into the one-on-one in coaching with their managers.
All right, fantastic, Danny. Well, thank you for a great presentation.
Sure.
We'll go ahead and move on to our final two. And just a quick reminder to everybody, we are running a little low on time, so if you can keep scoring in real time, and we'll be able to tally those up when we're finished. Next presenter I will bring on is Juan Camilo Salazar, the CEO of Effectus. Juan Camilo, give me 1 second.
Hey, remember I told you.
Oh, sorry about that, Nicholas. Forgive me, Nicholas. Nicholas is the co-founder. Juan Camilo isn't with us. Forgive me, Nicholas.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me send you put you up here 1 second. All righty, Nicholas, you should be able to share your screen if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you seeing my screen right now?
Yeah, we can see your screen and hear you loud and clear whenever you're ready.
Great. So, hi, we're Effectus. We generate empathy in the digital world. Our purpose is to create a more empathetic digital world, and we are going to achieve it through leveraging emotions. Now, the problem is SMEs in Latam spend around $10 billion in marketing campaigns without understanding their audience. This means their engagement is below 1%, and they spend around 5 days every month generating content, which does not impact their sales. Also, their spend on marketing, on digital marketing, is around 20% of their budget. Now, the solution is obviously Effectus, a software which allows the user to understand the emotions in digital content, and based on these insights, they can create, through artificial intelligence, new content, more empathic, and they will improve engagement by 20% and reduce time spent creating content by 15%. Now, as we said before, the market is around $10 billion, but we focus on the spend on digital marketing tools, which is 4.3 billion, and we hope to achieve around 5%, leaving us with $215 million. The business model is pretty simple, B2B, based on a monthly or annual subscription. Our clients log in, get to analyze and understand digital context, some trending words, trending emotions, and based on, as I said before, these insights, they give instructions to our software to create content for every channel they might have. Now, that's it. Welcome to a more empathetic world. Feel free to contact me.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for your presentation. We'll go ahead and open up for the media panel for any feedback or questions. Please just feel free to jump in.
This might be a dumb question, but please describe how the use case for injecting emotion and some sort of historical look at emotion over the last several weeks and using that for your content. Can you give me a use case around what that could look like?
Well, I'm not sure if the context might be the most accurate one, but we had a very big, over here in Colombia, a very big issue with an entrepreneurship fair, which did not provide food for every worker. And the manager of the fair just said, well, they are workers and they are not allowed to have our food. And well, this basically created a very big chaos in this fair, which was like the biggest entrepreneurship fair. And the problem lied the problem lies in this person not being able to communicate the right emotions and understanding what everybody in the social network said. With this incident, a lot of entrepreneurs decided to stop attending this fair, and about a week later, another fair was announced where every entrepreneur in this original fair fled to this other one. I mean, I'm not sure if I am being clear on the use case.
Just trying to get a sense for how someone would take the data, this emotional data that's given over time, and use that to inform their content going forward.
Okay, maybe if I log into my social networks or I log into Affectus and I want to send the correct message regarding the Russia-Ukraine war, and I want to know if people are feeling more afraid, or if they are feeling more enraged, or if they are just not understanding what's going on. Affectus will help you understand what everybody else is feeling. So I will be able to use the correct words, the correct feelings, and improve my engagement, because my content will be aiming or transmitting what everyone else is thinking and feeling or asking.
And you're doing this by parsing text, written language?
Right now, yes. Only we are capable to analyze text. We are working towards transcribing YouTube videos and analyzing that as text, or Twitter offers us the opportunity to transcribe what is said on Spaces, which will expand our reach even more.
And how are you setting yourself apart from other bigger companies that are also have sentiment analyzing technology?
Well, our value lies on the ability to create content based on these insights, because, well, there's a lot of social listening going on, but it takes a lot of effort and a lot of money to get some value from these insights based on complex social listening. Or social listening is a lot more accessible, price-based, and user experience-based for SMEs and entrepreneurs and ventures. So that's our differentiator.
All righty. Well, Nicolas, thank you so much. Very interesting what you're building, sir. So thank you so much. We'll go ahead and we'll bring up our last startup. I'm going to bring on Michael Zhang, co-founder and CEO of AI Camp. Michael, give me 1 second and I'll give you the presenter role, sir.
So let's bring some energy to finish this whole thing, maybe.
Sounds good. Let's hear it, man. I know it's earlier for you in California, so.
Yeah. So I wanted to actually first ask you guys, like, how many of you think, for example, human capital might be the best resources or the most important resources, you know, for AI and your company? If that's the case, can you raise your hand if that's what you believe? Yeah. Okay, we've got quite a few people. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. So my name is Michael. I'm a graduate from Caltech and Stanford. And what we do at AI Camp, we're basically training middle and high school students about artificial intelligence. So this is our website, aicamp.org. What's special about us is we take these students and they essentially go ahead and make AI products. And the reason why we wanted to do this is because we think it's important for these kids to understand what kind of careers they're going to get into before, for example, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, in college tuition and maybe, majoring in something, set their career or their life in certain direction without actually trying it, right? So we're trying to do this. And the reason why we do this is because there's two reasons. One, this mission is personal to me. I graduated from Caltech and Stanford, as I said, the best universities, probably in the world. But when I graduated with Stanford with a PhD, I don't feel I was ready for anything. And I don't know, about you guys, how much you think, for example, your college, whatever you're learning in college, really prepared you for the real world. So we're trying to solve this problem. So now we have thousands of students learning with us. And what we discovered was that these kids, they can do pretty much anything. And if you, for example, give them the opportunity, and that's really because changed by the cell phone on your hands, the internet, the tutorial, everything that's online. So what you're seeing here is actually this website, that everything here is actually made by students, everything here, okay? Even our marketing, our data pipelines, I heard about automation, I heard about CRM. We do everything like that, technology solutions by our students. And we have essentially hired 40 or 50 students right now. And now we have another 800 coming. We can, for example, afford to hire them all. So we thought, hey, if we can utilize these students, maybe other companies can do that too. So what happened was we essentially went outside and talked to companies that raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and now they're hiring our students. And you know what? Not only they get the best talent, but also our students would get this learning experiences throughout the way, so that, for example, they know exactly what they're going to do in the future. And we thought we might be able to change higher education as well by bringing higher education back to the apprenticeship model. $1.8 trillion, guys. That's how much we're talking about here. Okay, so finally, I think just do it. Don't do it for me. Do it for these kids. So these are our students, who are working at a camp right now. We need to find these guys more places to go. So if your company are hiring, you need top-notch talent, you got my email right here. And if you're a journalist, you can help us spread the word about how talented these folks are, give them a chance. Not only going to do great for the next generation, you would do great for all these companies who are hungry for talent.
And time. Michael, thanks so much. Great presentation and really cool what you're building. Looks like folks from all over the world too. So congratulations on that and your success thus far. We'll go ahead and open it up for the last round of questions before we do the final tally.
How do you sustain any competitive edge over the major online training sites, whether it be, Khan Academy or what have you, and the many sites that keep popping up? What is the sustainable competitive advantage in this regard?
So basically, when you think about it, there's two things. Number one, like education right now is teaching for teaching's sake, learning for learning the knowledge. It's not really, for example, like learning by project-based learning. So we're focused on essentially training these kids, by projects. The second thing here, we're defending our business is through a marketplace effect. That is, right now we have 3 companies working with us. Soon, I hope it's going to be 50. Soon enough, we're going to have essentially the big company in our network. So they wanted to be with us because we have the best talent. Best talent will come to us because we're the companies. No more questions?
So the opportunities afterwards, meaning if they do the training through you, they're also likely to find opportunities.
So completed. We're actually thinking about creating a university where students actually doesn't pay anything for tuition. They start working at companies and they're making a lot of money, and those money will come back to us and pay, part of it come back to us and pay for the tuition. So 4 years, imagine, right? 4 years, you have $0 debt and you have 4 to 5 years professional experiences. And it's happening right now. For example, Jackson started working with us full time. By the time he graduates, he will have essentially 6 years of professional experiences. I'll pick him any day of the week over any MIT, Stanford graduates.
I kind of have a question as well. If you could just tell me a little bit about the salary, the payment for the students, and then if there's like an age limit that they can start.
Yeah. So the company wise, we charge them about $6,000 per full-time team, which composes 4 team members, and each one of them they were actually looking for the experience, not the money. So we pay them essentially $15 an hour.
Go ahead, Tim.
Well, I was just wondering, you'd mentioned you'd hope that the money would flow back once they got full-time jobs. Is there a commitment clause where, you know, a certain amount of their salary goes back to you, or are you just hoping they'll donate money?
So basically we sign contract with companies and then we pay these teenagers, right? So it's not, for example, they get job, and companies, they don't want to deal with, for example, employ like underaged, you know, folks. So we deal with everything around that.
Mm-hmm. But right, but in the future, when they have full-time jobs, you mentioned the idea of setting yourself up as a university.
Yeah. So the deal is, you know, still they like companies, they don't deal with folks internally. We basically hire them, and then we contract with companies. Still the same thing.
All righty. Well, Michael, thank you very much for a presentation. We'll go ahead and take 30 seconds now for everybody. If all the judges, if you could please put in your final scores, and we'll tally them up. Also, in the meantime, folks, while we're doing that, if any of the startups that presented today or any of the attendees have any questions, again, we have a really talented team of journalists here. So if there's any questions about best media practices, or what makes a story newsworthy, anything like that we can answer today, that's another part of this Connect events, is we're really trying to bring people together and put some more understanding between the startup world and the journalist world. So feel free to ask any questions that you like while we're tallying up in the meantime.
I do have a question, actually.
Go ahead, Dale.
Dale Smith here. So after this event, what do you journalists intend to do?
What are you going to do when you get back to work?
Yeah, exactly. Get back to the office if you're not already in the office. I mean,
I can probably answer that. I mean, I don't always write about every topic that's covered here, but I mean, literally yesterday I wrote an article for a subset of our brand on a research report, and was able to include one of the companies that I was introduced to at an earlier event. So sometimes, honestly, it's about accumulating that knowledge. I've also referred some of the companies to other journalists I work with. So, there's always a kind of, I guess, I think the term used is a Rolodex of contacts that we keep of, interesting companies and things that people are doing.
I see. Okay.
I saw the question come in. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I see my role as basically being someone who weaves tapestries with threads collected from multiple different sources. And quite often I collect these threads through colliding with different stories in the world, put them in my sort of mental basket, and sometimes leave them for years. But they're still sitting there as threads, and then later on try and weave them into columns and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a lot of really interesting threads. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's pretty impressive that you have a mental basket of those, Jillian, as well, instead of a Rolodex. I don't think I can handle that.
Yeah, it shows I'm pretty disorganized, actually.
Awesome.
I probably need an AI tool to organize my thoughts.
Hey, there you go. Anybody looking to build the next tool to help the financial
and the data dashboard, right? And maybe hire our students to make it.
So I was gonna say two things. First of all, I didn't attend this. This is an AI avatar you've been speaking to. No, I'm kidding. Maybe in the future. But the question was posed: what makes something attractive to be covered? So I write an independent column today. I write between 5 and probably 7 pieces a month, and I get over 1,000 pitches a month. So what makes something attractive to me is a very, very short pitch, saying that you have something that is relevant to my audience, and I'm covering cyber, AI, the impact of technology on people, privacy, big data, things like that. And that really is qualitatively and different, not just quantitatively. So the next version of this, a better version of this, hey, we have this cool person joining our board. That's not the kind of stuff I'm going to write about. But hey, humans are dealing with this kind of problem, and it's a problem that every human has, and we now have a way of addressing it. That's interesting.
I see. Thank you, Joseph.
I would second that.
I hope you got a whole lot of interesting today.
A lot of interesting.
Okay.
I would second Jillian and Joseph and say I'm always looking for fresh ideas for stories. I don't know where they'll fit or when they'll fit, but the more hard numbers you give me up front, and the more you tell me right away how you're different and what problem you're looking to solve rather than which solution you're trying to devise a problem for, the more interested I'll be.
And there was a follow-up question as well from Nicholas, just about kind of coverage for companies that are outside of the United States. Maybe Kate, maybe you want to talk about that. I know the Next Web tends to cover kind of a lot of companies as well, but I think it might depend on obviously the coverage area of the publication. But maybe if you want to talk to that, Kate.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't see that as a barrier for a lot of publications unless they're very locally focused. For example, if you have a publication that's focused on, I don't know, Turkish startups, they're probably going to focus on Turkish companies. But really, it's about, there may be some regional specific opportunities where people are looking for roundups, or they're looking for, that kind of, collective information. But if we're all digital, and, if an idea is good and there's a really good problem solving, interesting product that's got traction, it's got customers. I mean, the thing we're always looking for at the Next Web is, why should I care? That's what our readers want. They want to read stuff that is interesting to them, that's got some type of relevance or interest. And that doesn't have to be locally based, because our readers are global. We have, a lot of readers in Europe. We also have a lot of readers in other places, including Russia and China. So it varies,
I mean, I can just tell you from my own audience, there isn't a month that there aren't over 1 million readers outside the US. So even though I'm US focused, there's plenty of people coming from elsewhere. I write in English. I've had my pieces translated by others to languages ranging, from Spanish, which is common, to Arabic. I had stuff published in Iran, a couple months ago. The world is global, and there's people who can translate from English to anything. If you have a good piece with original ideas, and, if you're pitching something that's interesting to human beings, wherever they may be, I think the way it was just said was, why should I care? If human beings care in one place, they're probably going to care in a lot of places. So geography doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'd second that. There's been a lot of excellent advice from the journalists here. I'd say if you have a customer who's willing to go on the record and talk about their story and talk about the before and after, that's golden, especially in enterprise and even in cybersecurity, where you don't find that often. But when I do find someone, when a vendor pitches me on something new, I always revert back and say, okay, that CISO at Prudential who is extolling your virtues at an offsite, I'd like to interview them and have them go on the record in print of the before and after. It's rare to get that, but that's kind of the gold standard. And then from that point, I'd say that this aggregate experience of listening to all of your creativity and the outstanding accomplishments you've had kind of goes into a collective kind of look at the view of the market and how well it aligns with, a mission that a journalist is on versus, people write for many different reasons, but to serve others and to bring technology into focus of the efficacy of it, but also its service to others is really important. So those are elements, but if you could produce a customer reference who's willing to go on record, that's really excellent. That's strong.
Yeah,
It's a way to win a pitch.
Yeah, I'd kind of echo what Louis just said. I mean, from my standpoint, my audience at American City Business Journals, we are a geography-focused company for the most part. That being said, our readers are small business owners, they're executives, they're managers, they're people who are encountering a lot of the challenges that you guys talked about today. They're most interested in like ways to solve the pressing problems they're finding. So, I mean, some of the most effective pitches I get are people that can do, like Louis said, create some anecdotes and like whether it's a cybersecurity issue, an AI issue. I'm interested in hearing, I guess, those kind of tangible solutions, but getting candid details that would really help somebody who's at the other end. I'm not really interested in product launches or this is coming up. I'm interested in how did it work, and is somebody kind of not in the company willing to talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. And just a framework to keep in mind, simple 3-step framework that I evaluate even a personal interview with a customer is, what's the problem? How did that problem escalate? So first is, what was the problem they had? How did it escalate? And what did the pain threshold get so bad that they had to take action? And in cybersecurity, that would be a breach or ransomware or anything else. And then what was the resolution? And the resolution then becomes, I think exactly to what Ty said. It's a painting of that portrait of what happened. It doesn't have to just be all about you. It's about serving the reader to say, here's the entire spectrum of solutions. And by the way, this company is doing some really cool stuff there. I think if you follow that problem, escalation, solution, when you pitch and you've got somebody willing to share a story, stories are so compelling. The more I write about stories, the more I believe that the human brain is wired to learn by stories. I'm just more and more convinced of that when I look at the traffic compared to, like X and so just did a product launch. But the pieces of like, wow, that really blew up in cybersecurity, and this is the way AI can help solve that. There's no question that stories attract readers and emotionally bring them in. So those are things to think about.
All righty, guys. Well, thank you so much. I know we're a little bit past time, so we'll be sure to also send contact information for the folks that were here today as well, if anybody has any follow-up questions. But I want to try something new. When I announced the winners today, the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place winners, feel free to unmute yourself, clap for them. We're not in a live scenario, so let's make as much noise as we can if you guys are comfortable with that. Kate, I know it's late where you are, so I don't want you waking up any family members or neighbors, but any small golf claps are good too. And then for the startups, when I call your name, feel free to just come on and just say hello and say some brief words if you like. But yeah, so first up, in 3rd place, we have Danny Castro from WayDev. Congratulations, Danny. You want to say anything?
Thank you so much for the time, for the space, for listening to us. And we are gonna be available. You can contact me through the organizers, and I will be happy to answer more of your questions or any coverage that you wish to have with us.
Congrats, Danny. Nice job.
Well done.
All right. Next, we have Michael Zhang, co-founder and CEO of AI Camp. Michael, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you for thinking of the next generation.
Nicely done.
Nicely done, sir. All righty. And in 1st place, we have Jean-Paul Smitz from Rapid Space. Jean-Paul, congratulations, sir.
Thank you. I can't believe it. I'm very emotional now. Thank you.
It's fascinating what you're building.
Sorry, I cut. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. I couldn't imagine it. So it means the ideas make sense. So I am so happy.
Definitely. It's fascinating what you're building.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, John Paul, Michael, Danny, but also all of the startups today. You guys had fantastic presentations. So thanks for being with us. A really special thanks to the journalists who took time out of their day today, because I know they're very busy. So thank you so much for being with us. And I also want to give a thanks to Eunice and Natalia, who really put all of this together on the back end. So thank you both as well. And we hope to have you back with us for the next Connect event soon. Until then, take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.